Hello, this is what I guess you'd call the first official update of my project, as the video before this was just an introduction to what my project is. My goals from last week were sort of to understand FFTs. To do with the project, it was mainly to sort of understand FFTs. That didn't go entirely too well. There was a few reasons. I was ill. I got a bit like a sore throat, headache, blocked up sinuses, which is not the best thing for, sitting in front of a computer screen when you have that. But the main reason is that I was looking at a lot of guides on digital signal processing. I went back and looked at the slides from Creative Computing 2, which we did last year with Christoph Rhodes, and I've just really sort of really having a hard time understanding about FFTs, because the main thing was like an FFT is just a version of the Fourier transform, and there's DFTs, and there's just a lot of words going around that I really don't understand or know about. And one of the guides I looked at said that most scientists and people who actually use the FFT don't fully understand it. They wouldn't be able to recreate it from scratch. But for me, obviously, we have to describe our code in the vivas at the end of I don't know the exact date for it, but the end of our project is going through our code, proving that it was our code, that we know how it runs. And so I sort of want to get some kind of basic understanding of FFTs, how they work, why I'm using it, what it's actually doing. So I went into Mick on Tuesday. I said I'd do these videos every Wednesday, but I've decided might as well do them every Thursday, because it means I can get feedback on Tuesday, I can think about things on Wednesday, and then I can come talk to you guys on Thursday. So I was talking to Mick, and he was trying to explain to me as best he could, and it's probably my fault that I'm not fully understanding this. I think with people like Christoph and Mick, they're both brilliant in their own fields and they're very intelligent. But I think as you've known something for so long, once it becomes so common knowledge that you know it, I think you find it harder to teach it to people that have sort of no base understanding of it. And I understand that that's my fault, that it's my lack of knowledge on the subject that means it's very hard for them to get across what it is to me, because I mean, it's obviously ages ago since they probably learned it in the first place. But one good thing did come from the meeting. I sort of mentioned that the game Taiko, which is what this game is, what I'm basing my game off of, which is a Japanese drum-along game, which was initially free for the PC, and then they released it, Taiko Nujitsu. I'm getting that horribly wrong and butchering that name, it's probably not even slightly right. But they released a version of it for the iPhone, but it's only a free version on the Japanese App Store, but it never saw a Western release. There is a way that you can get it on non-Japanese accounts, because you obviously need a Japanese iTunes account to download the app from the Japanese store. I'll probably do that just so I can do a quick video of showing you what the game I'm basing it on is like, playing it myself. Have some fun with it anyway, because I've always liked the game. But the thing is, one good thing that came from it, when I was sort of discussing the fact that Taiko doesn't always, you don't always press the drum on a drum beat, you're sort of drumming along to a song, but it's not always on the drum beat. Mick sort of brought up the idea of spectral flux, which is sort of when a note will be created when there's a change in frequency. So like, it will count for when someone's playing a piano, chords in a piano will set it off, or strums of a guitar will set it off, and it won't just be drums. But you're still drumming along, but you're not following the exact drum beat, but it's still, fun, and it still works. And so he brought this he brought up this idea called spectral flux, and I did a quick Google search on spectral flux, and I came across this website called Bad Logic Games. And what Bad Logic Games is pretty much just one guy, he's called Mario, he's from Austria, I think, and what he's done is he's gone through a process of knowing nothing about onset detection, and he's gone through a process of wanting to create a game from scratch. And it's basically, he's blogged about 7 or 8 different posts about him learning onset detection, and I think he wanted to do it for an Android app or something like that. But he's got a blog, he's got basically a blog which follows his learning of the onset detection algorithm, and I think that'll be really useful to me, because I think the best time to learn something is to learn it from someone who's just learned it themselves, because then they'll remember what it's like to know nothing about it, and how they how they like understood it, and I think that's a really good way to learn. So he's got an email address. I'm going to send him an email after this saying, hey, I'm doing onset detection game for the iPhone. Is it okay if I have any questions about your blog posts? Can I send you an email? And I'll see if he replies. But if not, it's still something pretty cool to look over, because he's got videos, he's got snippets of code. He references the Minim music library for processing, which is something I've worked with before, so that's we've got a good base understanding there. And he's just got a load of pictures and a load of things like that, and I think it'll be really helpful to follow that guide. So my goals for next week are hopefully to have a running piece of code. If I'm still struggling by next week, I think I'll arrange a meeting with Mick, because I don't want to get stuck really early on, because that's not helpful. You want to get something done, because obviously once you have something to start with, it can be really easy to build. The main problem is actually starting on what you want to do. So I've been talking for about 6 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there so it's not too long. But hopefully next week you will see some code from me, and I'll show you the program running. See ya.